So from my aspect, when you're talking about purely club fitting,
Yep.
What's going to happen in the mechanical side of things? Are you going to get the opportunity to do a little bit of work at home, not so much at the golf course, because it probably wouldn't be advantageous to do anything, or do too much at a range right now. Getting you to understand what body shape does and how it does it, and then how it affects the golf club is more important. Okay? So when we start looking at the right-hand screen first, so all you've done there is zeroed your spine out. Okay, because that mid-thoracic here will bend that way,
Yep.
but it will not rotate that way.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yep.
because otherwise you'll essentially scrape your spinal cord, scrape your spine, the outside of the spine.
Right.
So it's not going to work.
Okay.
So your brain's been too smart for that.
Right.
So it then starts to go, okay, well I've got to zero my spine out here somewhere. And that's why it ends up there. Now, in 2/100ths of a second from the top here,
Yep.
it's now going to get back down to the impact. Now, if it's moved that much, you're going to have to be pretty gifted. You're going to have to do a lot of work at it,
Right.
which is time and energy that you don't have.
Okay.
So therefore, it's going to play okay for 3 or 4 holes,
Right.
and then be interesting for another 6 or 8, 9 holes,
Yep.
and then you'll play okay for another 3 or 4 holes.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And realistically, when it's good, it's good. I'm not too worried about that. But when it's bad, I want it to be better. I want you to miss hits to go straight, do all that kind of thing.
Yep.
So back to the club fitting side of things. So now at impact, the shaft is vastly different than what it was at address.
Yep.
And the reason why you would have had them 2 inches longer than standard is probably, or even an inch longer than standard,
Yeah.
is due to the fact that you would have been getting it out of the toe all the time. So all they would have done is just made it longer and longer, so you got it out of the centre.
Okay.
When reality is they didn't look at the mechanical side of things to allow you to hit it out of the centre.
Yep.
And that's the reason why. Now your head's back over here
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
rather than being back here. So this is a huge part of the fitting process. In my first and foremost, I'm a coach.
Yep.
Fitting golf clubs, there's a certain element of it that you've got to get yourself to a certain stage before then we can go and fit you, because it's that inconsistent.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
As far as that's concerned. So after, if I put a golf club that I believe would be a long-term good option for you, you're probably going to hit it out of the toe, hit it toe deep, so you'll create friction. You'll hit the outside of the golf club first, and it won't fit you
Yeah.
right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm more interested about is getting your mechanical a little bit better, and it won't take a great deal, by the way.
Sure.
Get it a little bit better, and then do the fitting process later.
Okay.
From my aspect.
Yep.
Otherwise, I don't want the placebo effect of, wow, I've got a shiny new set of golf clubs,
Yep.
that wears off, and we're doing the same stuff again, because it's pure arrogance. But I don't want my reputation being tarnished by that.
Yep.
I need you to get better.
Yeah.
And the limited time that you have, you do most of your stuff at home to retrain motor patterns,
Yep.
and then get out there so it doesn't feel as foreign, because what we'll do is we will react to what that does in the air, the golf ball. So therefore, you'll start manoeuvring around and doing weird and wonderful things. So I would rather see that as a long-term process for you.
Yep.
And as I said, it's about posture,
Yep.
and it's about activation from muscles, and then you'll start to see a huge difference. And the little waving around thing at the top that is there is more to do with that body going up rather than going around.
Sure.
So therefore your arms go up and they detach from your body. Because you can see on the left-hand screen, that's quite a severe move up and off the golf ball.
Yep.
So that hub moves, so the axis moves, then you change the contact point with the ground all the time. So in my world, I'd love to see you do a little bit of work on the mechanics,
Sure.
and then we have this battle again at a later date.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Because I really don't want you to go and spend, quite possibly $1,500-$1,600
Yeah.
on weapons that may not give you the best option.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
So the idea of golf now, we want a bit more pressure on that left foot.
Okay.
Okay. So there's about 55% on your left foot, and then as you start to rotate back, your centers, your axi, both top and bottom, so your sternum and your belly button will stay on top of each other. Okay? So therefore, then we don't change the contact point with the ground all the time. On the way down, the bottom axis will move. You'll push that way.
Okay.
Basically from using the ground forces, pushing down into the ground and working up and out. But we don't want the top axis to move.
Right.
Okay? So then what happens is you repeat it more often than not, which is what we're going to do now. We're going to start with this.
Okay.
And we're going to start with little pitch shots, just with the pressure in your left foot,
Right.
and then we can go from there. Huh?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.